Good evening. It's Thursday, January the 28th, and I wanted to read today's devotional. I read it earlier, but I finally had a quiet moment that I could actually share with you guys. So I hope you enjoy. It's called How to Handle Disappointment. Why are you cast down, O my inner self? And why should you moan over me and be disquieted within me? Hope in God and wait expectantly for him. And that is Psalm 42:11. And then the devotional states, today something happened that left me disappointed. I felt sad and my mood was starting to sink. But thankfully, God reminded me that if I would decide to simply have a good attitude, I could avoid wasting the day. When life disappoints us, we can get reappointed. We can disappoint the disappointment by deciding to make the best out of the situation. A positive attitude is a valuable thing to have. Our attitude today is the prophet of our future. It determines the level of our joy and is our best friend and our worst enemy. Your attitude is your thought life turned inside out. It is the posture you decide to take towards life's circumstances. If we can only have a good attitude when everything is going our way, then we are seriously lacking in spiritual maturity. But when we develop the ability to remain stable in the storm, it glorifies God and witnesses to other people. Your attitude belongs to you, and nobody can force you to have a bad one if you don't want to. You have decision-making power, and you can decide right now what your attitude will be today. Misery is an option that you don't have to take. And the prayer says, Dear Lord, I want to be a stable person who can handle disappointment without getting discouraged and sad. I need your help and I ask you to strengthen me. Help me not to depend on my circumstances for my joy, but to always look to you. And I read this today, and so far this week, I have a loved one in my heart who received some serious news. And of course, upon hearing it, I felt hurt for them, sad. I just felt really down, and I just began to think, what would I do? How would I react if I was in that situation? I hope and pray that I don't encounter that, but I guess I won't know until, if I was to be in their shoes. And it's interesting because this person sent out a message saying to everyone, don't worry. Hey, don't worry about me. We're praying, and I ask you to continue praying and to enjoy your lives, enjoy each day to the fullest. But it was encouraging words. So this person that received this news is sending encouragement to everybody else, saying, hey, I'm okay. Pray for us. This, it's obviously a tough situation, but hey, don't worry. Enjoy your each day to the fullest. Enjoy your families. Enjoy that time with your families. So that really spoke to me and just made me look like, okay, all right, I can't stay in this state because I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't sleep earlier this week because I was thinking about them, and I was just, just felt so down. But it's like you have to make that conscious decision. Okay, yes, this sucks and I'm having to go through this, but. And it was interesting also, because you have to choose how you're going to react to people. We encounter stupid people all the time. And people say things, hateful things or hurtful things, or situations that we don't like pop up. But it's all keeping your attitude in check. And it was so funny because earlier I had to keep my attitude in check because there was a nurse that was supposed to come see my mom, and she didn't come at the time that she said she was going to come. So she was already late. And so my mom is telling me, can you please call them and say, hey, don't come? She goes, it's already too late. I'm tired. I need to eat and I need to lay down. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. So I called this nurse, and of course, right off the bat, she starts giving me attitude and kind of talking to me in a tone that wasn't necessary. Well, of course, inside, I'm like, okay, I'm about to pop off back at her and give her a little attitude too. And as soon as I was, the words were on the tip of my tongue, and then suddenly I was like, all right, I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm just wait and choose. And all I heard was choose your words wisely, because they were about to come off the tip of my tongue, and they weren't going to be nice because she wasn't nice to me. But I took a breath, said what I needed to say. We ended the conversation. And then I called her supervisor in a very professional manner and explained what happened. But the point is, I could have gone off. I could have gone off on this lady for her tone, for her attitude. But me giving that same attitude back to her probably wasn't going to solve the situation. It just wasn't going to help. So I had to rethink that. Rethink, my thought process and my words. And thank God I did, because it probably wouldn't have ended up good. But the thing is, after that happened, then I was still upset. I was still replaying that conversation. And I think that's where I fall into trouble there, because if I have an encounter with somebody, or somebody says the wrong thing to me, or they hurt me, or whatever the case may be, or a circumstance arise, I'll keep replaying it in my mind. Replaying it. And that's not going to get me anywhere. It's just going to ruin the rest of my day. So earlier, after that happened, I was like, no, I'm done. It's what's happened. What happened is done. I resolved this. We resolved the situation with the supervisor. We're good. And the rest of the day, I was able to be somewhat productive and take care of some tasks that I had on my to-do list. But the point is, I think it's not to get stuck in that, not to get stuck in those disappointments that arise, because they're going to keep coming, because life happens, unfortunately. But the point is, like, at that moment, to pray, or at least that's for me. I can only speak for myself. In those moments when those circumstances arise, that okay, I'm not happy about this. This should not be happening, or whatever the situation is. But I just got to stop and check myself, check my attitude, and check my words, and check my response to situations, because that's the only way I can do that. I got to keep a level head and keep my mind right. Because if I dwell on the disappointment, if I dwell on those conversations with people that don't go so great, if I dwell on those circumstances that keep arising day after day, that are draining, then I'm going to stay in that state, and that's not me. I'm naturally a happy person. But yes, I can't do that all the time, and I've done that before, where I'll put up a front. Like I'm good and I'm carrying on, but inside I'm just falling apart. And that's not a good state to be in, because then I'm not being honest with my own emotions. And I think that's what's helped me, is to learn to be honest with my emotions. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be disappointed, or whatever the case may be. We're only human, and we're going to encounter these situations, but it's not to stay there. Don't stay in those moods. Don't stay in that disappointment to where it just continues to bring you down, and then you can't move on. Then you're not able to move to the next step and handle your business and handle life, because life doesn't stop. You may finish with one disappointment. Well, another one's going to come right up eventually. So it's this lesson is telling me, in the midst of all these storms that are popping up, I need to be calm, and I need to pray, and I need to be wise about how I check, keep my attitude in check. Be wise in how I respond to certain situations, respond to people, because that can set the tone for the entire day, the week, what have you. So I choose to, okay, like I did earlier on the phone, I took a deep, 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 deep breath. And then I was able to, carry on the conversation the way it was supposed to be handled. But that's my devotional that I wanted to share. And I hope y'all continue to have a blessed week. Y'all take care. I love you guys. Bye-bye.